Welcome to Scrunchy Time. I'm Nicole Hegstead, your fertility advocate. After 6 years of infertility and 3 miscarriages, I decided that I needed to become the advocate for my own body. If you're exhausted from struggling to get pregnant and want to know more about how I can help, check out my website at www.nicolehegstead.com.
And I'm Bridget May, your children's health expert. My son was born with a heart condition that led to 3 open heart surgeries, cath labs, a tracheostomy, and a ventilator. After being fed up with mixed opinions, I became my children's own advocate. If your child's health is lacking, then check out my website at www.bridgetmay.com to find out more how I can help. Put your hair up and pay attention while we discuss today's hottest topics concerning female hormones and healthy kiddos.
We aren't silky.
We aren't crunchy. We're scrunchy. Hello and welcome back to Scrunchy Time. So today we are gonna, Nicole is gonna take it over and we are gonna talk about toxic chemicals. She has recently put together a class and it is freaking amazing how much information she has in there. I thought I did some research on toxic chemicals a couple of years ago and it is nothing like what she has prepared for you guys. So I'm going to let her take that away and tell us all about it.
Okay. Thank you. And thank you for that intro. It was quite a task. I'm not going to lie. It's not a fun task either, like let's look at the stuff that's destroying our lives, and you have to like look up what words mean, and there's like words that are literally this long. I think I screenshotted one to you at one point.
I was just thinking of that, and Google knows this is a word.
Yeah, Google Docs literally did not say it was misspelled, and I was like, holy crap, this is actually a word. Oh yeah. But so yes, very intense course. But so I've been wanting to do this for a long time. My health journey really began with toxic chemicals. I had first moved out of my parents' house and started looking into just alternative ways of cleaning. And my sister actually recommended me to a website called DIY Natural. And I really got absorbed into all of their stuff. They teach about how to make your own cleaning chemicals using basically baking soda and vinegar, that kind of approach. And I really just got sucked into it and stopped using a lot of toxic stuff, especially in my household cleaning. And that's really where, like I said, my health journey began, was recognizing, okay, if these people are allowed to sell products that would harm us, then there's got to be products that we're eating that are bad for us. And there's got to be products that we're exposed to in other places that are bad for us. And it just slowly spread out from there in a trickle effect. But the other thing that was really cool about it was I had these viewpoints of how to eat healthy that were really toxic. And I'm really glad I'm out of that point now. But I thought that I had to cut out all sugar and like never eat a grain of sugar again, like ever. And I would trip myself. And so I really took a lot of comfort in the fact that, well, I can change my toilet cleaner and be healthier. And I don't have to worry about craving. Like, it's easy to change your toilet cleaner. You just literally buy a different product and you still clean your toilet the same exact way. And so it was like an easy change for me early on, whereas, the food aspect was a huge problem. So I kind of encourage people, start with your cleaning stuff. Like it's easy and it's easy to switch out. And we think that it's not that big of a deal, but through this class, like it made it more concrete in my mind that the cleaning chemicals and the hygiene chemicals that we're using are destroying our health, just from on a cellular level on up. It's destroying everything, the cleaning chemicals that we're using. So the first thing that's really important to recognize is that the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, they're in charge of making sure that toxic chemicals don't get through to us. So that way we aren't being harmed. They're literally an organization that is set up to take care of that. The FDA is the organization in charge of food and drugs. So they make sure that all food and all drugs that are being sold are also not toxic and that we're being taken care of. These two organizations are drastically sleeping on the job. I'm just going to say that. Like, it is horrible. It made me so angry. I've always said the FDA means nothing. The FDA means nothing. literally nothing. They literally do not mean anything. So the EPA gets 3,000 applications a year for brand new chemicals. And the process that it goes through, I don't really know the process that it goes through once it gets to the EPA, but most chemicals are approved within 3 weeks of having been submitted. So it's a relatively quick process.
Which that in and of itself is crazy. Sorry, that just hit me. Like, what long-term lasting effects can you figure out in 3 weeks? Yep. I'm sorry.
Oh wait, it gets better.
I changed things in my own house longer than that. Okay, sorry.
It gets better, right? Like I literally had a drug in high school that I took for a month, and like a month and a half later, it increased the spinal fluid in my head, and
right.
I'm getting a spinal tap. Long story, like I almost died and went blind. Like, but it took a month and a half for that to happen. Like that's twice as long as 3 weeks. So what are these chemicals doing? No, it gets better. There is no testing that's done in that 3 weeks. If a company wants to have its chemical tested, then it can petition the EPA to test the product. Otherwise, a chemical does not get tested for whether it's toxic to us. Furthermore, the only chemicals that are required to be listed on a bottle of cleaning supply are the chemicals that the manufacturer knows are toxic. So if we're getting 3,000 brand new chemicals created every single year, and we haven't done any testing except for the manufacturer asking to be tested, which I'm sorry, how many manufacturers would be like, can we please test this for toxicity? Because I'm pretty sure it's going to kill everyone out there, right? Like, I just don't see that happening very often. Sorry, what was that?
Exactly. Oh, I just said, and we want you to know that.
Yeah, exactly. We really want you to know that we're using this stuff. Yeah, no, it's just like how much is in our stuff that we don't even know about. That is the most terrifying thing of all. Like this class is massive. Like I literally ran out of in the hygiene section with all the chemicals that are in our hygiene like cleaning stuff, shampoo, toothpaste, etc. I ran out of web page room and had to create a second web page for all of the videos. So there's literally 2 whole web pages filled with videos on everything that we use from in our toothpaste, deodorant, shampoo, lotion, everything. It's insane. It's insane. And those are just the things we know about. And this class is specifically geared towards toxic chemicals that are affecting your fertility. So I do address stuff like this is a known carcinogen, or this can cause itching or rash or Alzheimer's or things like that. But I mostly address how it's going to affect your fertility, because obviously that's who I'm helping. So I really niche down with the concept of your endocrine system and what's this, if it says, well, it's a, mild irritant to your endocrine system, it's affecting your fertility. If it says that, it only affects developmental, the development of the fetus, but not your fertility. I'm sorry, it's affecting your fertility. And I go into all of that in each thing. And, or my favorite one is, it's not affecting your fertility, but it's toxic to organs, but your uterus is an organ. So question there, it makes no sense. So I break a lot of that down. Another one is a lot of stuff is not harmful to humans, but it's harmful to aquatic life. It will like kill it if it gets into the ocean, right? And it's a big concern because we don't want to kill our sea life, but it's not harmful to humans. I'm sorry, I just don't buy that. I just do not think that something that's going to kill a fish would not kill me. I can understand if we're talking about like, you don't give your dog grapes because their kidneys can't handle it. That makes sense that I can eat a grape and a dog can't. But this chemical cannot be put in a fish tank, but I can put it in my body. Like, what? Yeah. No, I'm sorry. That doesn't
especially when it's man-made versus God-made.
Exactly.
That's the big dividing factor there is like, absolutely. Hello.
Yes, absolutely. So like I said, the first part of the class, I talk a lot about hygiene, everything that I just mentioned, from shampoo to toothpaste. The other thing is a lot of the chemicals that are in these things are not actually necessary. It's a colorant, or it's a scent, or it's meant to foam so that way it just feels better. And yes, I agree, foamy shampoo and toothpaste is awesome, but is it necessary versus having a child? No, I'm sorry. I would take a child any day over having foamy shampoo, unfortunately. Unfortunately, that's one of the prices there. Another huge issue, and we've talked about this in the past, but I wanted to address it again real quick, is pads and diapers. The chemicals, I don't think we really talked a lot about the chemicals that are in our pads and in our diapers that we mostly talked about, like alternatives and things like that. But the chemicals that are in our stuff, from the dyes, even our baby wipes have formaldehyde in them. Just really horrible stuff. Actually, I actually thought of you, Bridget. I'm going to kind of throw you under the bus just a little bit here. So when Bridget first got into cloth diapers, she said she didn't care about having them for her son, but wanted them for her daughter because she was concerned about, reproductive health and stuff like that. And
that's what got me into them, was I found out I was having a girl and I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously there is a hole there, like everything goes up into that, and that is true. But they've actually found that the toxic chemicals that are in diapers affect boys' testicles more than women's fertility. So we're actually causing male infertility by using conventionally used diapers on our sons. So that to me really made me angry. I don't know why, that almost made me more angry than anything else. It was just like, are these poor little baby boys, and we're just putting these chemicals on their baby parts
for no reason.
Yes, exactly.
Like, there is no reason why you can't do cloth diapers.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, there's no situation where you couldn't choose to do cloth diapers.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
So, and then the other big issue that really also made me angry was pads are considered medical devices. And as medical devices, they are not required to list any ingredients that are in them at all. So you do not know what's in your pads. There's not a label on your pad. It will say scent free, it will say whatever, but like that's not a label. That's not like a nutrition label, quote unquote. It's not an ingredients label. It just says that on the package. And actually the phrase fragrance free, or I'm sorry, the fragrance unscented means nothing. So if you see unscented, it does not mean anything. Same with dyes. It can say dye free, but they'll use colorants, or they'll use inks, or they'll use they just are manipulative liars. I'm sorry. And it's really irritating. And I know I sound like I'm coming on strong, but this is literally affecting our fertility. And it really makes me angry that they would lie to us this way, and that they would make us pay them for a product that is harming us. And then that we have a government agency that we're also paying out of our tax dollars to protect us, who is laying down on the job and not doing anything about it. That makes me very angry. And yes. Okay, so then diapers are not considered a medical item. And so because diapers are not considered a medical item, they don't have to undergo any testing for safety. Yeah. So you're pretty much like screwed if you do and screwed if you don't. Like these labels are all about protecting the manufacturer. They are not about protecting us in any way, shape, or form. And so it's extremely, extremely frustrating that we have these things that we're using on a daily basis. They say a tampon, the average amount of time that a woman wears a tampon, depending on the length of her period, is anywhere from 7 to 10 years throughout her life. That's a long time. That's a long time. I mean, if you think about it, so let's say you start your period at 10, which is about when girls start, and they go till maybe 50 on the long end, that's a fifth of your life during that time period that you're sticking these chemicals up inside of your body near the area where you're trying to get pregnant from. So obviously huge problem, huge issues there. Then I go into BPAs and plastics and how those affect your fertility. And what's more, I go into how to eliminate those from your life, and products that you can use instead of those. So I really try to give you a lot of answers there, because our world is a plastic world. It just is. And it's really hard to eliminate plastics from our life. And so I also focus on giving yourself grace in that area. Obviously, you're never going to replace your laptop, right? Like you can't get a glass or metal laptop. Like you're not going to get a glass or metal or wood TV. Like those are going to be plastic items. And so have grace. You're never going to have a plastic-free home, but where it matters is in your food, in your bathrooms, places like that. And so I go through all of that. And then,
It's really true. That's really a hard one because going through, moving into camper life and stuff like that, everything is plastic for food.
yeah,
And I mean, I don't know as much about it as you do. I just know it's bad. But like you store your water in plastic, all these things. And I'm like, that's sitting in the hot sun,
mhm,
in our situation. And it's just been amazing. Like I didn't realize how much plastic is with our food all the time. It's just
yes,
insane.
yes. Well, you can even
So,
buy, like at the store now, to identify the difference between like an organic apple or a regular apple, they'll wrap the organic apples in cellophane so that way they know to charge you at the register. And it's like, I'm sorry, wrap the regular ones in cellophane. Like those people are
yeah.
already dying. Like, it sounds terrible. Like, why are you wrapping
Right,
the organic
right.
ones
Why are
in?
you poisoning our organic apples?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Like, that makes
Hmm.
no sense whatsoever. I'm sorry. If I'm going to pay more for my apple, you can wrap the other ones in cellophane.
Yep,
Oh,
yep.
yeah, like, and these are products that are leaching. So
They do that
BP,
with bananas too. They put blue tape around them, and I've
yes,
I've
yes,
always thought of that like.
yeah. So BPA's, I'll touch on that real quick. The BPA is short for bisphenol A, and that's a additive into a plastic material that makes it strong and stretchy. So, for instance, when you drop a glass, it breaks. When you drop plastic, it doesn't because it's able to absorb that crash, and that's what that's for. The thinner that your plastic is, the more that the bisphenol A will leach out of it and onto you or whatever. So cellophane versus like a lid, a hard lid, the hard lid is going to be better. Shower curtains are really bad because they'll, especially like the flimsier the shower curtain, the
Mm,
more it's going to leach. And when it's exposed to heat, especially, and water is very water soluble. So showers are really bad. Get cloth curtains. Um,
mm,
Cellophane around your food is really bad, especially when it's hot and you put it on and it gets that condensation look and it's all stretchy, and yeah, you're eating BPA's the next day. When you put hot soup in a Ziploc bag, I just
mm.
cringe. I just cringe every time I see that. I'm just like, no, don't do that. So you're just leaching those BPA's right out and into you. And what BPA's do in your body is they mimic estrogen. And so your body thinks that you have more estrogen than what you need. And a lot of times I have found with my clients that they will have the symptoms of low estrogen as well as the symptoms of high estrogen. And the reason for that is their body is not creating enough natural estrogen because it thinks it has enough to be doing what your body needs to be doing. And so
Mm.
you're low in estrogen, but then you're filled with all of these fake estrogens. And so your body also isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing because you have too much estrogen. And so it's like this terrible clash that's going on. And it can literally affect your ovulation because what happens during ovulation is your estrogen will spike and then drop a little bit. And once it drops just a little bit, your hypothalamus, the receptors in your hypothalamus, which is up in the middle of your brain, sense that your estrogen is low, and so it says, okay, it's time to ovulate, and it triggers the pituitary gland, which creates a chemical called luteinizing hormone, and that goes into your ovaries and it triggers the egg to be ovulated. But if your body is full of BPA's that are telling your hypothalamus there's a ton of estrogen here the whole time, then it won't ever trigger that LH and you won't ever ovulate. And this is why
Mm.
we use fertility treatments, which block the what like Clomid does is it will block the receptor sites in the hypothalamus so that way it thinks that there's no estrogen and then it triggers it. So instead of cleaning our bodies out of the BPA's, we're actually just tricking the hypothalamus. And so lots of issues there. That's a different class, but I'm sharing that like these are the things we need to be eliminating from our diet and our
Hmm.
lifestyle instead of trying to block their effects in our body. We need to be cleaning them out of our body. So I also include with that a BPA detox program where it's just a guide for you to do on your own or with me if we're coaching. If you end up coaching with me, you get this class for free, but you can also buy the class as a standalone class without coaching. So totally up to you. I also have a book on Amazon that you can buy separately that has each of the chemicals. It's a lot more condensed. It doesn't have all the chit chat that I share in my class with you. It just has the chemical, what it's used in, what it does, and what, like, how to avoid it. So you can purchase that on Amazon, and that is also included for free in the course as a PDF download. So you'll get that as well. And I really tried to design it to where you can kind of take it to the store. So that way when you're looking for shampoos and stuff, you can like rifle through it and look and see if the chemical is in there. It's not perfect because it's 99 pages. So it's like you got to take 99 pages to the store with you. But there are areas where I have a checklist. I have several checklists in there that you could just use that for household cleaners and stuff like that. But the book is good. So yeah, so that's the class in a nutshell. And I also go through household cleaners at the end of the course and talk about all the chemicals in there. So yeah, it's amazing. It's truly astounding the things that are being allowed to be sold to us, and how much it's affecting our bodies. And we have no clue, and we just think that people are taking care of us, and they're not. So yeah.
Well, no one's going to take as good a care of you as you can. No one cares about you as much as you do.
Exactly. And that's another reason that I tried, when I wrote the book to go with the class, I put what it does to your body, because I want you to be able to look at a product and say, well, it has this in it. I'm okay with that. I don't have sensitive skin. I'm okay with a little bit of itching, and this product has never made me itch, so I'm good with that. Versus, me saying this is bad and this is bad and this is bad, and then you just have to avoid everything. Whereas like another product is going to be, hey, this literally causes infertility in everything from fish to animals to you, avoid this product. And so then you're going to be able to make the choices of what you want in your products, and you can choose from there. So it's really about empowering you as a consumer to choose the products that you want going into your body.
That's awesome. Yeah. We need to be making these choices, and there's give and take, depending on where you shop and what's available to you. And, we've all been there. We're all growing.
Yes.
Absolutely. We're all at different levels. So that's amazing. I love that idea, because it is a challenge.
As an example, after I did this course, I picked up my toothpaste and read the ingredient label, and I was like, yeah, I don't want that in my mouth. I need to change this. So I am currently on a quest to find new toothpaste myself. So for someone who literally says in the class, I've got all this figured out, finally, I don't. So yeah, it is definitely a journey. And, like you said, you're always changing, and our bodies are always changing, and companies change too. Like that's another scary thing, is you can find something that you like, and then new ownership comes in, and you got to find something again because they start putting something in it. So be aware of that. Like you're probably not going to be on the same thing for the rest of your life, so. Yeah.
Yep. Unfortunately, somebody decides this is cheaper and goes the easy route. So,
exactly. So yeah, so you can find this class on my website. It's under the programs button, under standalone, and you can just click on the button and purchase it there, or you can find my book on Amazon.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to have the book because, of course, easy shopping.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, great.
Cool.
So, all right. Well, thank you for sharing all of that, and go check it out. I'm telling you, it is amazing. I have learned so much from it. So we will see you next week.
Yes, absolutely. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on today's podcast.
If you'd like to know more about our programs or watch the podcast in video form, you can visit our websites,
where we also share links and resources concerning the different topics that we have discussed.
Check me out at www.NicoleHegsted.com.
And check me out at www.bridgetmay.com. See you next time.